Back with Brian Hayes. Toronto Maple Leafs had won 3 straight. It was on the upswing heading into the All-Star break, and then they lose to the Islanders last night. And Sheldon Keefe didn't waste any time calling out his team. Do you have any problem with that?
Absolutely not. I think it's long overdue. I think his approach, Sheldon Keefe's approach, since he became the head coach in Toronto, has been to lean towards positive reinforcement, coddling players at times. And I don't think it should be the case when you consider how veteran this team is, how long Sheldon Keefe has been here, and how inexcusable the mistakes continue to be. They continue to compound. Defensive mistakes, peewee mistakes, which he called it that last night. I think it's a perfect description. You cannot get caught in the situation that Liljegren got caught on and the other 4 forwards in the PP last night. You know when the clock's running down, Rod. You've known that since peewee. It's the National Hockey League. I think it was an appropriate approach by Sheldon Keefe, an appropriate tone by Sheldon Keefe. I think it's long overdue, and I would like to believe he's going to continue that pace.
He had once again, though, double-shifted his top power play unit. So with that in mind and how tired they were, did he shoulder some of the blame on that peewee play?
Some of the blame, but here's the catch-22 when it comes to a situation like the Leafs find themselves in right now, right? They spend so much money on so few forwards, and they load up on PP1. They've done that all year. So, yes, he could have possibly taken them out, put fresh legs on the ice, but it's a low-scoring game, and if they don't score on only their second power play of the night, they only had 2 all night. If they don't score on that opportunity, then he gets questioned, why'd you take the big boys off the ice, right? These guys, they just had their break. Yes, Austin Matthews was a part of the All-Star festivities, but he didn't travel anywhere. They were off yesterday. The big boys should have been prepared to play a full 2 minutes if need be. And even if you are exhausted, again, like he said, it's the National Hockey League. Chip and chase, get off the ice when you're supposed to. Your coach is not going to hold your hands at all times. And I think, again, he can shoulder a little bit of the blame, but for me, it's a large majority still on the players for mental mistakes like we saw last night.
And, Brian, I had to check again and confirm that Sheldon Keefe is the 5th longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League right now. With that in mind, when he steps to the podium now, do you think the message is still being heard?
I'm not sure that it is, considering the same mistakes continue to pop up. This team's been very inconsistent with defensive breakdowns, with peewee mistakes. We saw it again last night. That's why I think we're seeing a bit of a different approach here and a different tone from Sheldon Keefe, because I think last night he may have been telling the world he's not sure his message is getting through right now. And again, they're running out of time here, Rod. Like, as of now, they're a playoff team. I believe they will be a playoff team in the end, but Boston's gone. Florida's likely gone. They are going to have to compete for positioning here with Tampa, with Detroit, with other teams on the outside looking in, like the Islanders, if you're fighting for a wild card spot. So I'm not sure that Keefe's message is getting through the way he wants it to. I think last night he proved he may have to have a different tone, and maybe we're going to see the beginning of a different approach for a guy like Sheldon Keefe.
Currently in, but to your point, just barely tied with the Red Wings for the final playoff spots, those 2 wild cards in the Eastern Conference. Toronto back in action tomorrow against the Dallas Stars. Brian Hayes, thanks.